Good morning from a very, very sunny morning down at the allotment. I think yesterday we reached around 24 degrees over here in Leeds, and they tip another glorious day. So I've come down early. I've a couple little jobs to do, so I'll take you around with me, show you what we're up to. First of all, I'll start by just showing you how the chilies are coming on. So as you can see, since the last video, these chilies and peppers have come on leaps and bounds. We're getting a number of flowers on them now. They're not yet ready to go into the next pot size and the final pot size, but they're not far off. Not far off. I'm probably going to be maybe another week, 10 days before I attempt to have a look at the root system in the pot. But as you can see there, looking really nice, green and healthy. These are the Frigitellos. So I'm quite pleased with the progress of that. Managed to get all the garlic harvested, and it's now drying in the small greenhouse, and it's drying really well, so pleased with that. I've got some basil here which I'm going to plant out where the spinach was, so let's get across to that bed. So here we are at the spinach bed. Now, I think all gardeners and growers have an arch nemesis, and mine is spinach. I can't grow it for the life of me. As you can see here, it's gone straight to flower, and all of this crop has done the same. So it's back to the drawing board with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put my basil in here, and look to try and solve the problem of growing spinach. This is probably the 4th year I've tried to grow it, and each time they've ended up there. Never mind, that's part of gardening, that's part of allotmenteering. Let's just crack on and get the basil in. This basil was given to me by a plot neighbour, Mick, a couple of plots down. I'd forgot to sow mine, so I'm really grateful for that. But I gave him some of my spare brassicas, and I think that's what you get on allotments. You know, you get people growing stuff, and they grow a lot because they want to make sure that they get enough that they need, and then all of a sudden everything does really, really well, and you end up with a glut of stuff. So everybody swaps and changes on the allotment, and I think that's all part of the community spirit, really. So it isn't just about growing when you come down to allotments. It's about meeting people and sharing ideas. That's a big draw for me, is that. I'll get this in, and then I'm going to show you around the brassica tunnel, which seems to be doing really, really well. But I don't want to jinx it, so I'll crack on and get this done, and I'll see you over at the tunnel. So there we go. That's 18 basil plants planted, looking nice and healthy. I'll give them a really good watering. Right, let's get across to the brassica net tunnel. So we are in the net tunnel. I have to say, and again, I don't want to jinx things, but this tunnel is looking really, really healthy. The Ladero red cabbage is looking great. a couple of failures with the Savoys, but they're coming on nicely, are those. My 3 sprouts are doing really well, and the kohlrabi is doing great. Here's another nemesis, the cauliflower, but up to press. These guys are doing really well, so fingers crossed we don't start to see anything shooting through there just yet. So yeah, overall pleased with that, really pleased. These are the spray brassicas that I had after giving Mick up the way the ones he needed. I've still got these left, so I've prepped a bed. I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to plant these out for the pigeons, the butterflies, and anything else that wants to have a nibble. Why not? Fair's fair. Everybody's got to eat, everybody's got to live. As I mentioned earlier, we're having somewhat of a heat wave over here in the UK at the moment, so the barbecues are aplenty. What I've been able to do is pick some nice fresh salad leaves and some onions and a bit of my garlic to go on those burgers. One of the tips that I give to people, or if they ask, if they're interested, is when I pick my lettuce, what I do is I pot it on and I just put a little bit of compost in there, not a lot, because there's quite a decent sized root ball on it anyway, and then I absolutely drench this, and then I take that home, and that can sit on the doorstep and it'll stay like that for days and days and days, and you can just pick your leaves off as and when. So instead of just lifting it, taking it home, stick it in a pot, fill it with water, and it'll last you and stay fresh for days. So that's my tip for today. Here I am in my onion bed. These onions were the overwintering onions, the Japanese onions, that I pot into modular trays around about November in the greenhouse, bring them on, and then when they're big enough they go out. So probably towards end of November these were put in the ground, and as you can see we've got some decent onions. I'll try and dig one of these up for you. There we go, that's a decent size, and I think that's pretty much an average size. So I've got 2 beds of onions here, so these are going to last us well into the summer. And then I've got my Sturons and I've got my Elsa Craigs to follow on from that. So I'm picking a few of these today. They'll get sliced up and fried on the griddle on the barbecue. There we go, 3 nice onions. Nice and rewarding when you start to pick the fruits of your labour. Well, that's nearly it from me, guys. But before I go, I just thought I'd like to show you the progress on the dahlia cuttings that I did a few weeks ago. And I took 10 dahlia cuttings, and of the 10 I got 6 fresh new plants. So that probably took me 10 minutes, 10 plants. From the 10 I get 6, and all for the sake of 10 minutes, and you get new plants. So I'll be topping up the dahlia beds down here on the allotment with these and taking a couple home for the garden. Also, I mentioned that in the small greenhouse I'm going to incorporate another bed on the left hand side, and I'm going to create it so that my staging can still stand on the top of it, so during the sowing season I can utilise that for storing the plants on there and the trays, but in the planting season I can clear that, take the rails out and let the tomatoes and chilies and things grow through the frame, and tie them to the frame to support it. So that's a priority of mine now, because I've got a number of free plants from plot neighbours, in particular tomato plants. So I'll be cracking on with that this week, so you can come along and see how I get on with it. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the videos. Thank you to my new subscribers. It really is much appreciated. I hope you keep watching, but for me, I think it's time to go and get that barbecue sizzling. So have a great week, guys. Enjoy the sun if you've got it, and happy growing.